On May 8, 1945, the final German forces surrendered to the Allies. This day goes down in history as VE, Victory in Europe Day, commonly known simply as Victory Day. After 12 years of oppressive totalitarian rule, the Nazi government had been subdued, with Germany reduced nearly to rubble during Adolf Hitler's fanatical last stand. However, there has always been much debate over where credit should go for this victory. The notable matter of debate rests mainly on if the Western democracies, primarily the United Kingdom and the United States of America, could have won the war without the Soviet Union, or indeed if the Soviet Union could have won without the democracies, either out of the war or incapable of executing D-Day. The reason for this debate is that in the wake of the war, the Soviet Union installed puppet governments in countries liberated from the Germans, such as Poland. By 1949, several other countries, notably Czechoslovakia, had been cowed into installing communist puppet governments. Laying aside the debate of capability, the war was indeed won by Soviet forces in the East and Allied forces in the West. Since then, Victory Day, the Pobyeды, has been a public holiday in the Soviet Union and later the Russian Federation. However, I think that the nation, though not the people, of Russia have no right to a celebration of victory in the Second World War. The people of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and all the other countries under the boot of the USSR suffered horribly during the war. A common estimation for the death toll, military and civilian, of the Soviet Union in World War II is 27 million. As such, I am no one to deny the people of these lands a day of solemn remembrance of these losses. However, the government running Russia at the time was the aforementioned Soviet Union, officially the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. During the period of the war, this nation was run by Joseph Stalin, a man of equal immorality and oppressive rule to Hitler himself. In the early 1930s, disastrous policies of collectivization were employed in the Union, especially in the agricultural heartland of Ukraine. While many debate whether the terror famine, Holodomor, literally killing by hunger, was targeted specifically at the Ukrainians, the fact is that at least 7 million people died throughout the USSR, including direct famine deaths and deaths due to hunger-related birth defects. In short, the Soviet Union under Stalin was not any better than Nazi Germany in terms of human rights abuse and genocide. However, the Dien Pobyeды celebrations, while often remembering certain ancestors who fought in the war, are also patriotic, even using Soviet symbols, most notably the hammer and sickle on the banner of victory. I cannot justify any holiday that justifies such patriotic fervor for a state that committed genocides only 13 years before its victory and under the same dictator. I also do not think there can be any legitimate patriotism for the specific country of Russia either. That country was a constituent of the USSR, not any more independent than Ukraine or Kazakhstan. In addition, perhaps the Soviet army would have fared better had Stalin not shot over 80% of its commanders. In addition, after defeating the Germans in the East, the Soviet Union installed puppet states throughout Eastern Europe, often employing similar methods of oppressive rule to the Union itself. I do not think that any country can be said to have won a war when it places former free nations under totalitarian puppet governments, and in the lands of the defeated dictatorship installs a new one. I think then that perhaps on the 9th of May, Russians should lay aside a blind patriotic fervor and think about the losses of the war, the atrocities of the government that ruled them, and its subjugation of Eastern Europe. We can learn from history, and we must apply what we have seen.